first down. They hand off to Marlon Mack. Huge hole, 50-yard line. He's at the 40, still going near sideline. He's at the 10. He's at the 5, and he will score. Touchdown, Marlon Mack. Touchdown, INDY. And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard. Leonard with his second INT, and he's streaking down the near sideline. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's gonna go. A pick six for the Maniac.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
Hey, what is going on, Colts Nation? Xzavier Caudill coming back at you again with another weekly matchups video. This week we're doing the Week 14 matchup between the Colts and the Raiders. We're going to be seeing three key matchups that I think that are really going to be pivotal for both teams to win, for them to really win this game. First one is going to be Rodney Hudson versus Grover Stewart. Rodney Hudson last year was undisputably the best center in the league. This year, I don't think so, but I think he's still a quality guy on that offensive line for the Raiders. Grover Stewart obviously being our breakout player this year. He's been absolutely the best player no one saw coming on this Colts roster. He lost that 25 pounds. He's been a beast ever since. And the next matchup I got is going to be Clyde Farrell versus Chaz Green. Kind of worried about this matchup. It's the reason I put it in here. Clyde Farrell is a really talented guy, in my opinion, probably the best defensive lineman on this Raiders team. A lot of people like to look at Max Crosby. I don't think Max Crosby is the best. I think Clyde Farrell is. And from what I've seen on film, he definitely has the most bend. He's the most agile. He's the strongest, the stronger of the two. He just looks like a better defensive lineman to me than Max Crosby. And Chaz Green, of course, he is our third-string tackle. And in my opinion, I think he's better than LaRaven Clark. A lot of people hate LaRaven Clark. Chaz Green has strength. LaRaven Clark doesn't. LaRaven Clark's biggest issue was he had a decent motor, he had decent technique, but he was very weak. It's not like that for Chaz Green. Chaz Green is a strong player. He just lacks the other two. He doesn't have a great motor, and his technique is not very good. And then our last matchup is going to be Nelson Agholor versus Kenny Moore. That might be the best matchup of the day, and hopefully Kenny Moore wins it. Now, I would put Xzavier Rhodes here, but whenever this matchup will really count is whenever Nelson Agholor, they put him in the slot, they put him, running up that seam. That's something they like to do. They'll do that. They'll throw him in the slot and they'll put him against a team slot corner and see if they can keep up, because he runs a 4.42. He's a fast guy. He's a good route runner. He gets separation. He's a really talented player. And Kenny Moore as well. He's a very talented player as well. So it's going to be a really great matchup. That actually might be the best matchup of the whole game. We will have to see. But all three of them will really play a key role in who wins this game. And now we'll get on to the film. And this first film I have for you is going to be from Week 9, Rodney Hudson versus the Chargers. And I'm going to show you what Rodney Hudson does the best. Last year he was a pretty good power run blocker, but this year they've really honed in on what his skills are, and that's working to the second level and then getting him out in space, because Rodney Hudson does a great job in them two areas. And on this first play here, you're going to see them pull him. He's going to get out here and throw two really good blocks and seal the edge for the running back to get a nice 16-yard gain. Let's see it. Here comes pulling around. Notice he's going to get a hand on that outside shoulder and on his outside shoulder and free up that edge so he can get around. That's a really, really great block. You really cannot get much better than that, especially a center pulling around. And for him to be aware that he sees the two people, he knows if he gets a hand on this outside shoulder here, it means he can work to the next guy and then really free up that edge for his running back. So on this next play, you're going to see the same thing. Again, Rodney Hudson's going to take a good step here. He's going to get on to the outside. He's going to throw a really good block here on this linebacker. It's just what they like to do with him. They like to get him in space. He does a really good job. They like to work him from first to second level. He does a really good job of being aware of who he's supposed to block at the next level, and then making a really good block on people that are much smaller than him. And right here is no exception. Let's see it. Gets around the edge, throws a really clean chop block there. That's a really nice block. And especially for offensive linemen in the NFL, you have to have that in your repertoire, especially if you're a center. Center's not an easy job in the NFL. You have to be able to chop block. And right there, that was a really great example of it. So now we're on to the film of Grover Stewart. And we've seen Grover work against some really quality centers this season. J.C. Treader being one of them from the Browns. Ben Jones, one of them from the Titans. A lot of people may not know Ben Jones, who's not a huge name, but he is a very quality center in this league. He's been a quality center for years. He's one of the reasons that this run game for the Titans works so well. Him, Saffold, Luan's injured right now. Last year they had Conklin. But Ben Jones and Saffold are the two guys on the interior that really hold it down for this Titans team. And you saw Grover work against him in Week 10, and Grover really did a fantastic job against him. He really made Ben Jones just look bad. And you have to be a really talented player to do that, in my opinion. But on this first play here, you're just going to see him get off the ball, be aggressive with Ben Jones, change the line of scrimmage, and then take off one way and then work completely back across Ben Jones' face to make this tackle on Derrick Henry for a 3-yard gain. Let's see it. Works right initially, then comes right back across his face, just throws him right out of his way. And that's a really good job. You have to have a really strong base to do that. And, I mean, that's just a fantastic job right there. There's nothing else you can say about it. So this next play I'm going to show you just kind of shows off his smarts and also his agility. As you can see, you have DeForest Buckner down here and Grover Stewart. This is Week 10, so everyone by now knows how good this duo is for the interior of the defensive line for the Colts. And you're not going to run right at them. You don't want to run at this. That's a no-no. Any offensive line's going to see this. They're going to say no. Even the Browns knew better. They did not run at them very much. And right here, Grover Stewart's going to be aware that they're not going to run directly at him. And whenever Ben Jones tries to chop block, he's just going to put his hands on the back of his shoulder pads, push him out, and just be out of the way, and then get back in the backfield and make a tackle for a 1-yard loss on Derrick Henry. There you go. Puts his hands on the back of his shoulder pads, pushes down, opts out of the way. Makes a really savvy move and gets back there and makes that tackle. Keep in mind, he's tackling Derrick Henry and he's pushing him backwards. Derrick Henry's going backwards. Grover Stewart is an incredibly strong guy. One of the strongest interior defensive linemen in the league. And Rodney Hudson's really going to have his work cut out if he wants to one-on-one block him. I don't see it happening very much. I think they're going to put a double on Grover Stewart like they pretty much have every year. Or all year, I should say. This is just going to be a really good matchup, and I'm really excited to see it. So now we're going to be moving on to our second matchup, and that's going to be Klein Farrell. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly, maybe Farrell, versus Chaz Green. Now, like I said, this is the matchup that worries me the most coming into this game. I think Klein Farrell, however you say his name, very talented guy. He gets off the ball hard. He has good bend as a defensive end, and that's something you always need. He looks like he can just kind of contort his body off the edge. He makes big plays against the Jets. He was pretty much a game wrecker. He did a fantastic job versus the Jets. 2 sacks, a strip. He had a strip sack as well. He just looked like a beast versus the Jets. Now, a lot of players you can say the same for. A lot of teams will beat up on the Jets. But the thing that impressed me the most is he was working against one of the best young offensive linemen in the league, Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton is a force in the trenches. He is huge. He is fast for the size he is. A great wingspan. It is very hard to get around this guy. And Clyde Farrell did it not once, but twice this game. This first time I'm going to show you is going to be they're going to run the ball. Becton's just going to try to put one arm on him, like he can do a lot of defensive ends, and just kind of shed him out, push him out just far enough to where his running back can run right by. But Farrell's going to do a good job of fighting that arm, getting back into the inside and making this tackle for a loss. Let's see it. There, yeah, just rips right through it. You can't put one arm on this guy. You cannot do that. You have to put a full body on him. Becton right there found out the hard way. And it may be just one arm, but keep in mind, Mekhi Becton is one of the strongest offensive linemen in this league. Even though he's a rookie, he is incredibly strong. He's incredibly physical. One arm with 370 pounds behind it is still a lot. That was just a really, really great job from Farrell to beat him and just get back there and make that tackle. On the next play here, I'm going to show you is going to be another example. Klein just doing a great job of getting Becton's edge and getting this sack. Like I said, it's really impressive for you to beat Becton getting his edge one time because of how big he is and his wingspan. His wingspan really allows him to protect his edge a lot. You know, I know he's a 370-pound guy, but he ran a 5 flat at that size. It's pretty ridiculous. If you know anything about offensive line, 40 times that is elite speed at that size any day of the week. Becton's a really quality player. Keep that in mind. I know I'll keep preaching it, but he is a very good player. He is in my opinion, probably going to be the best tackle that comes out of this class. I know Tristan Wirfs exists, but Becton is of that, at least at that caliber already, if not better, just with what film I've seen of him this year. I know injuries is going to kind of hurt his stock so far, but hey, he's still been great. The film I've seen of him has been better than Wirfs in my opinion, and Clyde Farrell made him look bad. So if that tells you anything, Clyde is the real deal. He's a good player, and it's going to be something we have to watch out for, something we have to keep in mind during this game. Like I said, on this play, he's going to get off the edge. He's going to do a great job. He's going to get off hard. He's going to get his edge, and he's going to do a great job of hand fighting with Becton's outside shoulder and getting this strip sack. Let's see it. Yeah, that's a fantastic job. That's exactly what you want from your defensive end. Working against somebody that you know he's fat, he knows he's faster than. Even if it's Becton, a lot of people, if you're going to beat Becton, you have to get him going to the outside, then cut back in and somehow work across his body. Not a lot of people have done it. This guy's an absolute mountain out here. I'm going to be honest with you. He is hard to beat. Like I said, Farrell did it twice this game. Now we're going to get on to the Chaz Green film. And the thing that stood out to me the most about this Texans game where he was forced to play, LaRaven Clark went down with that injury, was that he, on film, he has more strength than LaRaven Clark. During the game, it just looks like, from all the film I've seen of both of them players, Chaz Green looks like he is a stronger player. The issue I have with Chaz Green is two things, actually. And it is one, it is his motor. He does not have a good motor. Raven Clark 100% has a better motor than him. And two, it is his technique. His technique is very poor. But I'm going to show you a couple instances of Chaz Green being physical. Right here, you're going to see him working against Whitney Merciless, veteran for the Texans. He's been a quality player for them, a quality edge rusher for years. And he is just going to absorb his bull rush and completely stop him in his tracks on this pass protection right here. That's it. Yeah, right there. I mean, it's not like he's knocked off balance or anything. He absorbs it, hops back, and then gets back on track. He has both of his hands on him, sitting back. That's a pretty quality rep. That's really surprising that he did that well. I expected him to get blown back into the quarterback, but hey. During the game, I even noticed that. That was a really good play from him. And that's something you like to see. That's something I really noticed after going back and watching this film. is that he is not a weak player. He's not what you usually see from a backup. He actually has some sort of strength to him. And on this next play here, you're going to see another example of that strength. He's going to drop back here, going to do a good job looking for this blitzer right here. He sees he doesn't come and just comes over and absolutely just puts a smack onto this defensive end right here and puts him on the ground. Let's see it. Boom, comes over, just pushes him right on the ground. Like I was saying, Chaz Green is not a weak player. That is not his issue. His issue is his technique and really his awareness. He doesn't really know what's going on at all times. That's his real biggest issue. But whenever I'm thinking, he's going to be working against Clyde Farrell, the issue is not going to be his strength. The issue is going to be him getting a good pass drop and having good technique, because Clyde Farrell will beat you on just his edge rushing alone, and that's going to be an issue with Chaz Green. But overall, from what I've seen, a lot of people are like, oh, LaRaven Clark, he's bad, but Chaz Green is awful. I don't agree. I think Chaz Green, honestly, for an NFL team, is just much more prepared. I'd rather have a guy that has strength like Chaz Green than I would a guy like LaRaven Clark, who might have the technique and might have the motor, but just gets pushed around easily. So now we're going to move on to my last matchup I got, and that's going to be Nelson Agholor versus Kenny Moore. And the reason I picked these couple plays for Nelson is because this first one is something we're going to see a lot from our Colts. We're going to see single high safety, disguise coverage, cover two. Something we love to run. We love to run our Tampa 2. Our defense is now healthy, so we can really run it effectively. But here you're just going to see them call play that's going to beat the cover two. Of course, this Raiders team loves to run. They're going to run play action, and then they're going to free up Agholor over the middle. They're going to find the spot right in that cover two where he's going to be open. Let's see it. Here he goes. Right here's the spot they find. That's a really good throw and catch from Carr too. Carr can diagnose defenses. He does a really good job of it. And this is just a really good play call. As you notice that the Tampa Bay Bucks, as soon as they see that run coming, they're going to commit. They have a really, really strong run game. That was just enough to open up Agholor for a big game. So on this next play you're going to see is going to be a really well called play by Gruden. You're going to see gun bunch to the right, and they're going to be running cover three here, but they disguise it well. But the issue is that this guy right here is going to come back over and play the middle safety. He's going to rotate down out here to the flats. And the issue with that is they're going to run Agholor on a streak route, and because he runs a 4-4-2, he's going to be too fast for this guy right here to catch back up to him. It's going to allow him to be wide open in the end zone for a touchdown. Let's see it. This is a really well-designed play. Maybe Gruden saw something that told him they were going to run that. Tampa Bay does really, they hide their coverages really well. That was a really well-hidden coverage. They think it's cover three. He's going to go back over the middle, but they bring him. And the reason they do that is because if they have him over the middle, they're not going. They expect them not to run Agholor up the seam. Once they have him back here, they expect them to see that and be like, okay, Agholor won't be open if we do that, so they're not going to do that. But they take the risk. They run Agholor up the seam, and they get lucky because he rotates down, and when he comes over, Carr recognizes immediately and hits him for a touchdown. That's a really, really well-recognized play by Carr. So now we're on to Kenny Moore's film, and he had himself a spectacular game versus the Texans. Easily the best game I've probably ever seen him play. He had multiple pass breakups. He had a incredible interception. I don't know how he came up with that, but he did. And on this first play I'm going to show you, what we're going to do is we're going to roll this safety down. This safety is going to play deep middle, and they're going to try to bring this guy right here and beat. They're going to try to get him kind of behind this guy right here, Deshaun Watson's going to try to look off this safety to open this guy up, but Kenny Moore's going to do a good job of staying with him and breaking this pass up. Let's see it. Yep. Right there. That safety has to stay there, so Kenny Moore is on an island right here. This is a really well-designed play. It's putting one-on-one Kenny Moore versus this receiver. That was a good route. Kenny Moore just did a great job staying with him. Got up there and broke the pass up. That's just a fantastic play there from Kenny Moore. So on this next play here, you're just going to see Kenny Moore do a great job working in man coverage versus Brandon Cooks, who at this time now is their best receiver after the PED suspensions. And Kenny Moore just does a great job of being physical here, pretty much running the route with him step for step. He gets a little separation at the top, but Kenny Moore does a good job using his speed to close down that little separation that he had and coming up with this interception. This was a fantastic play, and it really was a big momentum shift for us. Maybe the reason we won this game. They were doing a really good job. They were driving. And this play was a huge momentum shift. We really needed this play. This was at the end of the third. And that's just an incredible play. I don't know how he came up with that ball. I don't know how he made that play. I know the rule change. For once, you know, this rule change worked for us because versus the Ravens, this rule really hurt our team. But this game, it worked in our favor. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. You know, the 2 steps in a football move kind of thing. I understand the rule. It kind of makes sense, but in the instance versus the Ravens, it really wasn't. I didn't agree with him having possession for two steps. That was my issue. Here, Cooks did have possession for 2 steps, but he didn't make a move. And when the ball was on top of his body rolling around, Moore was able to just grab it and take off with it. So that was a fantastic play from Moore there. But that's all the film I got for you guys. I'm really excited about this game. This is a do or die for the Colts. Again, it feels like we've been saying that for 4 weeks, but hey, you know, now we're playing the Raiders. The Raiders haven't looked good the last 2 weeks. I got a lot of confidence about this game. I think we win pretty easily. I don't think we're going to have too many issues. One thing to keep in mind is that Josh Jacobs is questionable for this game. So if he misses, Booker's not a very good running back. I think we win this game very easily if he misses. I think we can shut down Derek Carr with their cover 2. I know I showed you a play of the Tampa Bay Bucks struggling against it, but you know, they ended up scoring 45 and holding them to 20. It gave them ample opportunity to score, and their zone was really giving Derek Carr issues. But yeah, if you're still here, I appreciate you being here. If you like the content, drop a like, drop a subscribe. These guys are awesome. Peace.